It's witchcraft.
It's 4:20 a.m. Hi, and welcome to the Stoned Witches Hour. On this podcast, two best friends on opposite coasts of the USA get together to tell each other spooky tales from across America while smoking copious amounts of the sweetest ganja they can get their hands on.
Really, what we try to do is not giggle the whole time.
And as usual, we have been doing a little pre-gaming because this is a somewhat of a rough episode, at least for me, and getting ready for all of it. But before we get into it, I am your host with the most on the West Coast, Laylla.
That kind of flowed really good. The host with the
Right?
most on the West Coast.
That's
Well,
right.
I'm the beast on the East.
Yeah, baby.
That actually sounds good because I do cryptids a lot. Beast on the East. I love it.
That's true. My queen cryptid.
I'm Chelle, and I'm really high today. Can I
Oh my
just say
gosh.
that?
Me too.
But like
Me
you said,
too.
we kind of have some deep story today. So I needed to be high to hear this from you. It's a good story, and I'm definitely intrigued, but I really needed to be high for it.
Oh,
So
absolutely. We are in the middle of our holiday 3 podcast program. We are at Ghosts of Christmas Present.
this was hard because
Very hard.
Ghosts of Christmas Past. That's easy. And I have a good vibe for Ghosts of Christmas Future, but this present one kind of threw me for a loop.
Oh, same. I called you last minute, last night, being like, I have some ideas, but I don't know what I'm doing. And you, being awesome, gave me some fabulous advice and some great avenues. And then I went right back to the first thing I thought of anyway.
So we're gonna stick with our Ghosts of Christmas Present, but
Hmm.
first, what the heck are you smoking?
Oh, I'm loving it. It's like Christmas in my house today because I have cracked open a jar of the best, the most yummiest Jack Herer that I have been curing for a little while. And it's ready, and I love it. It's so beautiful.
Oh my God, that's
Ooh.
pretty.
Isn't it gorgeous?
For all you
Love
folks who
it.
can't see Layla's weed, it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. And it actually, you know what? It looks like a tree, like it's got that Christmas tree color. It's like
It
that darker green.
does. It's about as long as my thumb. It's pretty thick. It's dark green with dark red hairs
But
and
like, you
pretty
know how
crystally.
sometimes weed can be like lighter green? This
Yeah.
is like Christmas tree green. Very seasonal.
It is. Thank you. Thank you. Now, it's delicious. It has a great incensey taste, I would say. However, if this is a real Jack Hare, I'd be surprised. It's got a great stone. I'd probably say mid to high 20s.
Did someone just get high and name it? Is that what you're saying? This ain't a real Jack Hare? Is that what you're saying?
Possibly. I got this from a reputable breeder, and as far as they know, I'm sure it is a Jack Hare. But it's not like the tasty, yummy, delicious, fabulous, kick you right between the eyes Jack Hare that I remember from back in the day. I'm
I feel like
still
we
looking
just
for it.
I feel like we just talked about this last episode about how things aren't like Jack Hare in California, Jack Hare in New York, two different things. So
Yeah.
this kind of circles back to that conversation where there's no
Hmm.
consistency, my friends. No consistency.
No, if you get a gelato here, there's no guarantee it's going to be the same delicious gelato in Colorado.
So I got this stuff called grape glue. And
Ooh.
let me tell you, it's kind of funny because I've only been smoking for about a half hour before we started recording, and I'm really high.
Nice. To get you high that fast, it's got to be good.
It doesn't taste like grape, FYI, but I'm always up for a good glue, and I'm feeling chatty, and I don't feel like I'm ready to like go to bed or anything like that. I'm feeling uppity, chatty, high. So two thumbs up so far.
I like that. Now, is it purple with the name grape? You
No,
would
no,
No, really?
it's not.
Bummer.
But I've had grape strains before that did have like purple hairs on it. This, no.
Not so much.
Probably
Now,
the same thing. It's probably somebody calls it that and it's not really.
now I would love to see the science on it, but I would guess and hope that Gorilla Glues seem to me, at least in my experience, have the same consistency. If I get a GG number 4 anywhere, it's going to be good. They're going to be solid mid-sized nugs, super sticky, maybe not super crystally, but very sticky, very good tasting, and an excellent mid to high range smoke every single time.
Well, my theory on this one is that my theory, I have nothing to back this up on, is that they potentially took the grape diamond and crossed it
With a Gorilla Glue.
with a Gorilla Glue, and that's how
Oh
they came up with
no.
the grape glue. I'm guessing.
I know you go to great dispensaries, so this is not the case for them. But backyard weed breeders, in my opinion, are almost as bad as backyard like puppy mill breeders
But
because you.
I feel like there was a time in our life where you were like, "Ooh, I got these clones. I'm gonna give them a go."
Oh, I love it. I will grow anything. I will grow a clone happily because then at least you know it's female. But seeds, and I'll grow it. Like I'm not that picky. I'm going to grow it. But don't tell me that it's a Gorilla Glue.
I'm just theorizing that it's grape diamonds crossed with Gorilla Glue. I don't know that for a fact.
Right. Well, don't tell me it's a pumpkin jack when you just made that shit up and passed it off that way. If you bred two things together and you don't know what they are, that's fine. I'll still grow it, but don't pretend that it's a stable cultivar.
Right.
So rant over.
Call it a salad
That's
where you
right.
just blended a bunch of shit together and whatever
Kitchen
happens,
sink.
happens.
Call it the kitchen sink. Call it the salad. Call it Grandpa Cookies 1 through 12. I don't care. But don't say it's stable when it's not. That's not fair.
But it's tasty and it's good and I'm high. So we're on it. We're having a good start here with this.
Yeah, not talking about Happy Valley. I'm not dissing them in any way because I'm sure that's not what they did. We love them.
But somebody must have.
That's right. Somebody did it. Okay. So I'm packing more weed forcefully. Thank
You're
you.
gonna need to.
I'm stuffing shoving because today, my bestie, I am talking about a current true crime story that's happening right now and is ripping hearts out all over the country this holiday season.
And unfortunately, this is a quote unquote ghosts of Christmas present. A lot of emotion. This is actually not even just a nationwide story right now. This is a worldwide story right now.
Yeah.
And it's sad. It's sad.
We're talking about the Moscow murders, the 4 college students that were killed November 13th in Moscow, Idaho. I don't even know where I want to start with this. It's just so fucking hard. It's difficult because it's gripped everyone for different reasons. Either you are a college student, or you have a college student who's a friend or a child, or you were a college student.
I was going to say, from my perspective, Jesus, I'm a parent. I have kids that age.
I also have a child who's almost that age and about to go off to college and do these things. And it was a time in their lives when they were partying and having fun. And one of them was just back for a visit and was ready to start her life in a whole new state. And it's young lives cut short. And there's so much mystery around it, I think, is why it's captivated people so much.
The bottom line is it's fucked up.
It's very fucked up. Okay. So
I follow Daily Mail. Daily Mail is kind of my news source. I find that I'd rather have my news come from England than America. We won't go there. So I read Daily Mail every day, in between work, in between meetings, here and there. I'm checking Daily Mail, and it has been all over, obviously, since day one. I think what first got me, because you know how when you're on these news sites, you kind of scroll to something that catches your eye. And I think what really caught my eye in the beginning was that I do have kids around that age. I have been that kid going to that party house, and too many questions. You know, the other thing that kind of sucked me in a little bit right from the get-go is, what is with all these incidents? Like, this is just my personal opinion. Do not bombard us with emails. But what is going on where I feel like every time some shit goes down in America, the cops don't know what the fuck they're doing?
Oh
like,
my
where did
goodness.
you go to school, friends? Who trained you?
This is yet another instance where bad decisions by the police, particularly in the beginning, may have compromised the situation. So again,
And
what we're
nobody does their job perfect. I can't say that I've done my job perfect all day, every day, day after day, year after year. I get it. But so how have you not figured this out? That's your job. That's what you do. And for someone, and you know me, back in the day, back before I had children, I was on track to become, I was going to college to be a police
That's right.
investigator.
You were.
Like that was my mindset. So it's not just me shooting off at the hip on my opinions. I feel like I have a good basis to have that opinion. Like, get your shit together, police peoples.
Now, in the early hours of November 13th, Sunday, November 13th, Matt,
2022 this year. So we want to make sure people know this is present. This
this
is
is present.
open
This
investigation as we speak.
That's right. There was new information just recently, but Madison Mogen, Kaylee Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin, who was Shanna's boyfriend, were all out having fun. They were students at the University of Idaho and were living in a sorority house in Moscow, Idaho, on King Street or King Ave. I'm not 100% sure.
Just real quick, geographically, this is kind of like a relatively wooded area, correct?
At least where this house is. I mean, it's a suburban area, and the back of this house where the sliding glass doors were is somewhat wooded. It's kind of private back there. The front of the house, where the parking lot and the main entrance of the first floor is, that has lights and is kind of open. It's quite a large open parking lot in that area.
But I mean, I just want to give people perspective that might not be familiar. It's not like it's in the downtown of a city per se.
No, that's correct. It's more of a suburban area, with houses not directly close to each other, but not too far apart either. So the four students went partying separately. Shanna and Ethan went to a fraternity party at Sigma Chi, which is on Nez Perce Drive in the area. And they left and were seen at that party around 8 p.m. that evening. Kaylee, who was in town to show off the new Range Rover that she had bought for herself, had arrived to show Maddie the car and to go to a Pi Phi party. Did I say farty?
Hi, hi, party.
Pi Phi party, to go to a Pi Phi party. I believe it was a formal.
That's the
So,
annoying thing about being in college is trying to figure out how to say all these fraternity and sorority names.
oh, right. That evening, Kaylee and Madison decide to go out and they go to a club. It's called the Corner Club on North Main Street. And they were seen there around 10 p.m. Or I'm sorry, they decide to go about 10 p.m. They were picked up at 10:15 and arrive at the club at 10:20. And at midnight that night, just on 11:13 at midnight, Xana Kernodle called her father, Jeffrey, and spoke to him what unfortunately was the last time, and said everything was fine and that they were all just hanging out. Then at 1 a.m., the two roommates who were on the first floor, the two surviving roommates, get home at about 1 a.m. About 1:30, Kaylee and Madison leave the bar and they end up being seen at a grub truck on South Main. So they're seen on Twitch video there, laughing, having a good time. And they end up getting a ride home back to the house. And they get there around 1:56 a.m. So now everybody's at the house. The two surviving roommates on the first floor, Shanna and Ethan, are there, as well as Kaylee and Madison.
So basically by 2 o'clock in the morning, they're all back in the same location then.
Exactly.
Okay.
They're all back at that house. We also know that starting at 2:26 a.m., Kaylee calls an ex-boyfriend Jack. She repeatedly calls him several times over the next 20 or so minutes.
What, did he not answer?
He did not.
Oh,
Maddie, and again, they were found in the same room, so they were probably in the same room talking. Kaylee had moved out of this house, and she did have a room on that floor with Maddie, but she wasn't staying in it that evening. Again, she wasn't living there. She was staying at her mother's house. She had just come back to show Maddie her new car and to go out for the night. Now, Kaylee and Maddie grew up together. They were referred to as sisters by almost everyone who knew them. They were extremely close. And so it's no surprise that, coming home from a drunken night of partying, that they would end up in the same room. And apparently, drunkenly try to call Kaylee's on again, off again ex, Jack. So about 2:44, Maddie starts to call Jack as well, to no answer. They both try a couple more times and stop just before 3 a.m. that night. In the morning, roughly 11:45 a.m., the two surviving roommates get up.
so how much time basically has passed?
Well, the last call to Jack was again just before 3 a.m., about 2:52.
And then they woke up at about 11:45?
About 11:30, sometime around, we don't know exactly, sometime around 11-ish, 11:30 in the morning.
So maybe like 5 hours, give or take, have passed.
Right. Now, some of this is going to be speculation because the police have not released a lot of this information. What we know for sure is that at 11:58 a.m., someone, a friend, not one of the roommates, used one of the roommates' phones to call 911 and report that someone was unresponsive at the residence. What is speculated is that when the roommates woke up, they went to Ethan and Shanna's room or one of the two bedrooms and found a locked door and tried to wake them up and maybe were calling and texting their friends' phones and were getting no response. And so at that time, they called some friends to come over. That part is known, that they called friends to come over. And then those friends said, we need to call 911. So we don't know for sure if they saw the murdered friends or if the doors were locked and shut behind the killer. We don't know. But it's speculated that maybe they didn't open the door, and that's why the 911 call was for an unconscious person.
Ah,
It's also speculated that when the roommates opened the door and saw the what is described as terrible scene of the killings, that one of them passed out and that the 911 call was for that unconscious person. But that's just speculation.
I gotcha.
So the police arrived very quickly after that 911 call within minutes, and they found Kaylee's dog there. They released that dog later to Kaylee's boyfriend, Jack.
Released the dog? Like, what's that even mean?
Just that they gave it to him. You know,
Gotcha.
so they did say that the dog was not in any of the rooms where the killings had taken place and that there was no evidence on the dog itself. So speculation is that the dog either maybe knew the person who came in, was asleep in one of the bedrooms that wasn't being used, or possibly had either been let out of the house or shut in one of the unused bedrooms by the killer.
Oh, wow.
The police arrived and pronounced all four students dead and described the scenes as horrific and very, very brutal. There was speculation at one point that the amount of blood in the second floor bedroom had been so much that there was blood showing through the walls coming down the outside of the house. I do believe that was later debunked, but I can't find that information. But I'm fairly certain that rumor was debunked. However, they have said that there was an extreme amount of blood at the scene.
Wow. Wow. Oh my God. I didn't realize that.
So the coroner arrived at the scene, and reports now have stated that alternately that all four people died in bed and that some of them had defensive wounds.
That I heard. Yep.
It's believed that they died very quickly, even the ones with defensive wounds, because the wounds were described as very deep lacerations, very deep stabs, and they would have bled out very, very quickly. So it's not believed that they woke up, or if they did, it was only briefly.
Gotcha.
The theories as to why the people on the first floor were unharmed. Now, before we started recording this podcast, I showed you the layout of the house.
Right.
And it's very, very maze-like. It's reminiscent of when we were in college and we and some of our friends rented apartments in town off campus. They were very often houses that had been converted and had the weirdest layouts. This house is similar. So I do feel that particularly in Shanna and Ethan's case, their bedroom was on the second floor, or the same floor as the sliding doors and the kitchen. And to get to that room, it kind of involved going through a little bit of a maze to get back there. It's kind of tucked back out of the way. So
I felt after seeing the floor plan that that person had to have been familiar with the inside of that place, because it really was a maze. And I was shocked when I saw the floor plan and yeah.
Now, unfortunately, that doesn't really rule out a lot of people because this is a sorority house, and it has been a sorority house for years. It's a well-known party house, and people have been in and out of it quite a bit.
What about the theory, though, that one of them had a stalker?
That is a theory, and there have been some people looking into it. Police and other people have spoken to a vape shop owner in the area who said he knew Madison and Kaylee quite well, and that one time when they were there, he was talking to Madison about safety, and she had mentioned that they were very familiar with a stalker type situation and kind of made a head motion over towards Kaylee, more or less implying that she had dealt with that in the past, and mentioned that they traveled together because of safety reasons. The stalker issue that Kaylee herself is believed to have talked about was a time when she was at a pet store and two men she felt were kind of threatening to her. But upon looking at footage and speaking to people that were there, including the two men in question, they've determined that it really wasn't anything. They were just two guys that were there and saw a pretty girl and didn't really follow her or harass her or do anything. So the stalker thing has not really been, there's no real leads on that.
Gotcha.
That hasn't really gone anywhere. However, it is a popular theory because it feels strange to have something like this be so random. A knife attack feels very personal. If you talk to profilers, they will tell you that usually if someone uses a knife, that's an up close and personal, rage filled, sex filled kind of act. But to kill 4 people, as you can see from the floor plan of the house, they're not only on separate floors, they're like on separate sides of the house on separate floors. He had to go up one set of stairs to kill Kaylee and Maddie, down those stairs, through the house, around the kitchen, and, through another place to get to Ethan and Xana. So I don't understand. If it was just one person or one person with a stalker, those rooms were far enough apart, he didn't have to do it. Why kill both of them?
Which is apparent in the fact that there were survivors.
Right, right. And why leave survivors? So there's a lot of questions here. I do personally feel that the police know in what order they were killed. And my reasoning for this is DNA is amazing nowadays. They do feel that there was one killer with one knife. So that knife, when you kill one person, is going to then transfer that DNA onto the second person, who will now have two DNA, 2 types of blood on them, right? Then when they kill the third person, they'll have 3 types of DNA. And then the fourth person would now have 4 different types of blood on them. So my personal opinion is they can kind of know in what order everyone was killed.
Well, and I'd also like to have faith in the fact that in the year 2022, the coroner can pinpoint right down to within a moment or two of death and should be able to know the time of death of each individual person and kind of lay out a time frame that way.
I also feel I've seen a few interviews with people talking about the particular type of knife, and they think it's a type of knife called a K-bar knife, which is a U.S. military knife. And honestly, that's pretty specific. What they're really saying is it's a knife with one sharp blade, a sharp point, and a relatively thick blade that has a short, stocky cross piece. But that's really all they can tell. They don't know for sure it was a K-bar. It's just a K-bar like knife.
Style.
Yeah. And I'm sure that the coroner can also tell that that knife is going to get dull. The type of wounds that they had on these students were extremely, extremely violent and more than stab wounds. They were more than stab wounds from what we've heard. So by the time they get to the second, third, fourth person, that knife is going to start to dull. And I believe that would also show in the type of cuts and wounds that are on each person.
Are they 100% positive that there was only one weapon?
That has not been released. I'm fairly certain that they are. Nothing has ever been mentioned about potentially 2 types of knives. All they ever talk about is a K-bar type knife. So I'm pretty sure all the wounds are consistent and being one type of knife, which would also lend credence to it being one killer, because usually in a knife attack, if there's 2 different killers, there's 2 different types of knives. When we talked about the Scream killing not too long ago, those 2 kids each used a different type of knife, and so they could ascertain who had done which stab wounds based on the knife wounds because they were different.
Now, I also would like to point out that for the type of wounds that we've heard about and the type of really horror scene that they've portrayed, this has to be someone, I don't want to say that has a good amount of power behind them, but like, this ain't no weakling that committed this. This was someone who had some muscle, some power, some stature. This wasn't, I don't want to say a weak person couldn't do it, because that's not right. But this is someone who had some thrust behind those.
That's right. In order to continue going through 4 people, at least one of whom fought back, it had to have been
a physically fit, bigger human, most likely a man.
I agree. From the description of the wounds, it had to be a very strong person, a larger person.
I'm just thinking that this might not be another teenager, or potentially not even another college student, just because I'm just thinking the amount of physical force it would take to make this happen. Not just once, but 4 times.
Right. That's very possible. Now there are some current clues that we do have that the police have released to us. I have a very strong feeling that they have quite a bit of information that they have not told everyone.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's a given.
Yeah. One of the things they have asked for help for is looking for a vehicle, a white 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra. This is a vehicle that was seen in the area of the killings around the time of the killings. Actually, when they first put out a notification about looking for this particular vehicle, a gas station assistant manager in the area decided, she's like, I work the graveyard shift. I'm going to start going through our security footage to see if I can find anything. She said she just had a feeling. And she did indeed on that night find footage of a white car going very fast down a side street off of a highway around 3:45 that night. And it's the same kind of car. So she's handed over all of that footage. And the police have asked if anyone in the area, or if you know anyone who has a white Hyundai Elantra between 2011 and 2013, just to
Shit,
let them know.
if I owned a white Elantra and I was in a 3-state radius, I'd be like, come look at my car so you know it's not me, motherfuckers.
Right? They know everyone who owns a white 2011, 2013 Hyundai Elantra in a three-state area. And it's just they got to go down that list. The other thing I'm fairly certain that they know that they haven't talked about is geolocation. I'm positive.
Wait. About what?
Geolocation.
What's that? I'm high.
That means that every single time you bring your phone
Oh,
anywhere,
yeah.
they can get a warrant and find out where you were, where you went.
Yeah,
So,
but you got to know somebody, you got to have a suspect to be able to do that on.
not exactly. They could possibly get a warrant for a geolocation, a geofenced area within a certain distance of that house, and they could get a listing of every single cell phone that was in that area in that time.
No shit,
No
really?
shit. Yep.
Oh my
So
God, when I go to my underground weed guy, I'm leaving my phone home.
that's actually a really smart idea. Not that I'm trying to help any criminals here, but leave your phone and leave your car at home if you plan on doing anything illegal, kids. But yeah, so they know everyone who was in that area, and it's just a matter of going down phone records and making sure everyone who was there should have been there and was where they were expected to be.
Now, this kind of takes me back to a point right from the get-go I made. So if that's the case, I probably should have known that and did it. If that's the case, or I'm just too high and forgot it, why has the killer not been caught by now? It's been over a month. What the fuck are you doing? Do your job.
20,000 Hyundai Elantras and probably 10 times that in cell phones. That's a big job. And if that car has nothing to do with the killer, or if the killer didn't bring their phone with them, again, very big job. Part of the problem that we're having here is that, first of all, profiling is an inexact science. There's really no way to tell. We can get a good idea, right? We can look at this scene.
You can get a rough estimate, but nothing 100%, because that's actually one of the things I focused on when I was studying that stuff in college, was profiling. Yeah, you can get a general idea, but you're not going to pinpoint it right down to that was Laylla,
That's,
you know?
that's right, right. Now, my psychic sleuthing self, plus we're all like internet web sleuths nowadays, right?
Right?
So I'm saying this is someone between 25 and 30, probably a former student. My guess is most likely is not a current student and was probably kicked out or dropped out with bad grades or that type of thing. I do feel that they have partied at that house before, enough to know where Shanna and Ethan's room was, but not enough to know that the first floor had bedrooms. I think they thought it was just a basement and that there was nothing there. So I think they were familiar enough to know where the first floor bedroom, Shanna and Ethan's, was, but not familiar enough to know where the basement was. I do feel that they have never been close enough to the people to be identified as a stalker, but I do believe that they knew them because they knew that house would be an easy mark.
Now, I disagree with you, and you know why?
Which part?
I believe the age range. I believe current or former student. I believe that it is someone that one of the girls wouldn't give the time of day to. I feel it is maybe not someone who's more of a recluse, but kind of. And maybe for the first time in their life went out on a limb and was like, "You're pretty and I like you." And they were like, "Yeah, whatever." Someone who'd been at that house to a party before, but made an advancement to one of the girls and was shut down pretty damn quick. And then the flip switch, the switch flip.
That's possible. I do feel that's possible, but I don't feel that that person would have been noticeable enough or in their life as a stalk. Like, I don't think if that happened, I don't think
Close enough, but removed enough away to not be a suspect.
that's right. Maybe they did get shut down, but then they were never like seen stalking her again or anything.
Right. But in their minds, it was like, if I can't have you, nobody can. You
It's
know that
possible.
you know that I'm just thinking it might be a boy that one of the girls shut down in a romantic way.
And that would make sense for like a sexual type sadistic killer. Those types of people, they're usually hypersexual. They fixate on people and they usually kill in a rage. They don't usually kill side victims. This rage will build up again and they'll have to release it again with another killing to kind of satisfy that urge.
But maybe that's what the friends were.
Possibly. So there's two reasons why I don't think it was like a someone driven by you spurned me and now I need to get to you. And the reason for that is because it sounds like it was too neat, too well done, too methodical, and too many victims, just in my opinion. Then the other type of killer that I think it could be is more of like the narcissistic rage driven killer. And this person is more, they want to kill someone for the power of it. And I do feel personally that they targeted the house because it's easy to get to know the layout because it's a party house. There's a lot of victims there. They could watch the house pretty easily from the woods in the back of it. And even through the windows, there are those big sliding windows at the big windows on the bedrooms. So I feel like they probably watched the house and
Has
maybe
there been any unsolved murders in any type of vicinity there in the last, maybe 5 to 10 years? I'm just wondering. I didn't even think of that, honestly, and you kind of really sparked a theory in my mind about the narcissistic killer. Could there, in theory, be someone on the loose?
okay. So just weeks before these kids were killed, one of their neighbors reported that their dog, that their 12-year-old mini Australian Shepherd, was found killed outside and skinned
What?
with cuts. They could tell that it was cut by a knife and skinned by a human.
So this wasn't like a bear came out of the woods and ate your dog type bullshit.
It was not. Now
No, there's a fucking crazy in the hood.
the police have said that that is unrelated to the murders. However,
Prove it.
it fits the pattern of, the type of killer, the serial killer that kills small animals and practices on animals before they move on to humans.
And maybe the neighbor's dog was a warning.
That's right. Or maybe they were kind of working up the courage to do it and needed to try it out on something smaller first, liked the rush that they got. And then this house.
Or maybe he got caught by the kids. Maybe one of the kids saw him, kill the witness.
I think it was a last opportunity. I think it was right before the holidays. Kaylee had moved out and was only back to show off her car to Maddie.
Kind of like a now or never thing.
Kind of like a now or never. Plus, everyone had gone out. They all came home drunk. Every one of them was drunk. It was in the wee hours of the morning. Parties were still going on. There's a police video at 10 p.m. in the area that we have. And then also at 3 a.m. that we have. Like, stuff was still going on. So it could be hidden in the noise of every night partying. So I think they targeted the house. Maybe, like you said, maybe they had a minor interaction with one of the girls. Maybe they just picked it because it was a party house and easy. But I think they went in there intending to get a thrill by killing as many people as they could.
See, I never heard about the dog, and that's why I asked you, was there any shady shit going on prior? Because maybe this just is somebody on a mission, which means they better get their shit together and find them, because if they do it and get away with it, they're going to do it again.
Yeah, and I think this type of killer did it for the rush and would have killed those two girls downstairs if they had known that that was more than just a basement, which is why, again, I think they came in through the sliding doors in the back. And I do feel that right now, the rush of killing all those people and getting away with it and all the attention that they're getting is more than enough to keep them sated and happy for a very long time. My personal belief is that once the attention of this case dies down with no resolution, that's when they'll start taunting the police and doing little things to try to get attention again and possibly committing another murder.
Oh shit.
It's just a different type of killer. And who knows? Either one of those killers could be correct. It could be someone who had, they did say that Kaylee had more significant wounds than the other three. That could be because the knife was dull and they were tired and sloppy at that point, or it could be because she was the target and the rest were collateral damage. Nobody knows at this point. We don't have enough information. And that's the scary part of all of this.
I can't imagine what the families are going through, but I also can't imagine what the people in the town and at the school are going through, because without resolution, how can you not watch over your shoulder every second of every day? How do you sleep at night?
My heart absolutely goes out to these families. My goodness. Ethan was a triplet.
Oh my God. His siblings, their hearts must just be ripped out.
He has a sister, Maisie, and a brother, Hunter.
Wow.
So I can't even imagine. And Madison and Kaylee's families, again, they grew up together. They were regarded each other as sisters.
Which means the parents and everyone in the family must have some sort of closeness as well.
Yep.
Horrible.
When the kids in those families talk about it, they say, my sisters were killed.
How are these people even fathoming the holiday season at this point? I would, no fucks given if that were me. How do you even give a shit that it's Christmas? You don't. You just don't.
And like you said, the whole community, the whole college, the whole town, everyone needs answers. And it's got to be a time of fear for everyone. And I wish them answers and safety and peace.
I understand that the police can't put all the information out to the public. I get it. I understand why you got a job to do. But for the love of fucking Christ, get the job done. Do your job. You want these people to have a Merry fucking Christmas? Figure it out.
May all the gods intercede and help bring justice to this case. So,
Oh,
yeah.
wow. I think I need a hit of some of my freaking grape glue.
Oh, real quick. Let me just real quick. One last guy, Enon Harsh.
Uh-huh.
Have you heard of him?
Who's that?
Oh boy. Okay. Keep an eye on Enon Harsh, aka Chef Dizzy. He's a neighbor. He's been talking a lot.
Is he the neighbor that's like, I'm just socially awkward. I just don't like talking, but yet you're on the news, mofo.
And he keeps putting himself out there. And I get the socially awkward thing. I completely understand. And more than likely, that's what it is. But as you very well know, in these cases, the killer often, especially if it's the type of thrill kill killer that wants this attention, they will
always be the one talking to the news mysteriously.
That's right. They will insert themselves in the investigation. They'll talk to reporters. They like the attention. So while I think he's probably just a socially awkward neighbor, he is worth watching.
But in the same respect, you've got to admit, since we both tread lightly on that socially awkward line ourselves.
Yes, exactly. And I don't want to stigmatize him because of that. It is more than likely that's all it is.
Because we surely tread that line.
Yes. And I also want to address the scream.
But let me just quick say this. He could be so freaked out that everyone thinks it's him, that he feels that he needs to be out there vindicating himself.
That's
so
right.
There is that aspect. And
yes.
I get that. He could be like, oh my God, I need to tell everybody on the planet that it wasn't.
That's right. That's right. And I need to keep telling everyone. So that's
we
more than likely.
Surely are not pointing fingers at him. It could just be his socially awkwardness, and I get it.
Yeah.
But watch him anyway.
Keep an eye on him. If he does come out with these YouTube and Instagram channels where he does his juggling sticks and cooking shows, by all means, keep an eye.
Right.
Also, new information. Again, I mentioned that there was a couple police stops in the area that they have on body camera video from them that show the house, I do believe, in both of them. One was earlier in the evening around 10 p.m. and one was at the time of the murders. It was just after 3 a.m. and the murders occurred between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. And in that 3 a.m. video, people do feel that there's a scream that can be heard. Enon Harsh also mentioned hearing a scream, but he also said he didn't hear any scream around that time. It could be a scream. I've watched those videos and I don't recollect a scream, but I'm going to go back through and listen to them more closely now. But some people also say it could be a tire squealing. So I don't know, but we'll have to see. We need to keep getting as much information as we can.
I do agree. We do, but I'm going to go back to my original complaint throughout this whole story.
What's
Um,
that?
please, 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 for all of the police and law enforcement, just get it done. We all have a bad day at work, but then the next day we have to get our shit done. Will you show up and get your shit done, please?
And it's all well and good for us to be armchair sleuths and to talk about what we think might have happened, but don't go after real people. Keep real people's names out of it. You know, by all means, post your theories and talk about it. It's scary. We need to talk about it and process it and kind of deal with it. But don't dox real people and don't get so invested in your personal theory that you just run with it. There's so much more information being put out all the time.
And also keep the perspective that how would you feel if this was you or your family or friend and the whole frickin' world and the internet were theorizing about your family or friend? So be respectful as well.
Yep. And we'll have some links if you do have legitimate information that you would like to share. We'll have some links in the show notes. So thank you all. And again, our hearts go out to the families and everyone in Moscow, Idaho right now. And we really pray that you get answers.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Yikes.
Wow. Christmas present is pretty fucking heavy. I guess it was in the book too, right?
Yeah, it kind of was.
That whole thing is pretty heavy. I like the Muppets version. If we're to be honest, I like the Muppets version of A Christmas Carol. The rest of them are very scary.
I don't know which version is my favorite, the Muppets or Mickey's Christmas Carol, where he
Oh,
goes
yeah,
and
that's
gets
so
Minnie,
cute.
the little, yeah, like, so either the Muppets or Mickey's Christmas Carol. The
Oh,
rest, like the old, like, remember when we were kids and there was like that 50s or 60s version in black and white? That shit was
super
scary.
creepy. Yeah, that stuff, that's scary as hell.
But you know what I've been finding so much is I'm looking for my, I was looking for my Christmas past, my present, and have been working on my future.
What'd you get?
What I keep coming back to in all these articles I keep finding is there's actually movements to bring back the tales of spooky and ghosty stuff at Christmas time, like how
Yes,
we talked
we
about a
should
couple weeks ago in Victoria, England.
we should spearhead that movement. I am all for it.
Too late. Smithsonian is actually spearheading that movement, believe it or not.
We should support the Smithsonian in spearheading that movement.
Right. Because basically, and I did touch on this a couple episodes ago, but for those of you who haven't caught up yet, but we know you'll go back and listen. Ghost stories were a part of the dark time of the year, the time where you're kind of cold and closed in. That wasn't just on Samhain, people.
It was
So
boring. There was no TikTok. They had to pass the time somehow.
so basically, people from the Samhain time almost until about Imbolc, people were gathered around the fire at night. People were inside all night, inside early. Dinner time was at dark time, which at that, nowadays I feel like is at 3 p.m.
Oh, right. All of you that are not in sunny Southern California have to deal with how dark and cold and dreary it is right now.
Glad to you. But
Ah.
anyway, but so, the whole ghost story thing, kept telling those stories and thinking about your loved ones. What, you don't talk about your past loved ones and try. What better time to break out the Ouija board and bring grandma back than on Christmas?
I freaking love it. I think I'm going to do that this year.
Seriously, if you are ever going to call your ancestor, why wouldn't you call them at Christmas?
So much more fun than Samhain. Samhain's all serious and like, ooh, doom and gloom.
But
But
we all know I'm not a
Christmas,
cooker. We all know
that's
I'm
true.
not a cooker, and I always try to make my grandma's Christmas cookies. And my grandma
Are
would be
those
the
the
type,
Klotchkis?
my
Please tell me.
grandma, she'd be the type that would come back and be like, "Bitch, you did that wrong." Grandma.
If
But
you're
no, I
talking
love.
about the tchotchkes, I will eat your practice cookies all day, every day. Please fucking invite me. Oh my good gods, I want to be there.
But imagine you've met my grandma. Imagine
I
pulling
have.
her in on the Ouija board and her being like, "You fucked that up."
Hey, if she tells you how to do it right, I will write that shit down.
But why? I understand how immigrants to America and when the people were settling America wanted to cut ties with some English traditions. But why'd you have to ditch ghost stories at Christmas out of all things?
Seriously, that is a fabulous tradition. I love it.
So I'm trying to think of some good stories that because all my adult children, my grandson, we're all going to be together for Christmas. I'm trying to think of can I come up with some good shit to intrigue my kids to get them going on some Christmas ghost stories. I don't know. We'll see what I find.
I
But
like it.
it is
Tell me how it
definitely
goes.
it's definitely becoming an up and coming thing. So if anybody has any cool Christmas ghost stories or any ghost story traditions, hey, we have like a bunch of listeners in Ireland. Do you Irish folks still tell ghost stories at Christmas? Will you email us some? Because we're like jealous.
Oh, and yeah, if you're in Poland, I heard something about a cat, like a
What
really
a cat.
big.
I have a cat. What are you talking
Oh,
about?
no, no. This is a big cat. This is like a big, scary Yule cat
Oh
that,
my God, like a cryptid cat?
yeah, kind of.
Yes.
But if you don't get new clothes on Christmas Day and wear them, the cat will come eat you.
What? Oh
Is
my
this a
God.
real thing? I need to know. Email us, thestonedwitcheshour@gmail.com, because that's kind of cool and also very scary.
I love cats. I would worship that cat. So what? The cat doesn't like old clothes? Is that really the bottom line?
I guess so. Maybe that's why my grandmother kept giving me new socks for Christmas every year. I
I
don't
want to know,
know.
does this cat have a name?
It's from Iceland. Okay, the Yule Cat of Iceland. It's called Yola Katunurin. Yola Katurin. Yola Katurin. The Yule Cat of Iceland. And it says that the Christmas cat is a monstrously huge black cat that only appears at Christmas Eve when little children are sound asleep. And if there are no brand new clothes amongst the gifts and the children do not wear them, the children are eaten by the Yule cat.
The hell?
That's right. And no one's sure where it came from, but there was a poem by Johann Ur Kotlum, who lived from 1899 to 1972. If you don't get new clothes on Christmas and wear them, it will eat you.
You're screwed.
Yep, screwed. Better get your new clothes. I guess that's a good excuse. I want new clothes for Christmas now, man. Yeah. Do new shoes count? Damn, I love new shoes.
Now, I do want to just point out one funny I found. It was called Terrifying Traditional Christmas Legends.
Ooh, okay. I could go, after the story I had, please give me some terrifying Yule and Christmas legends because I need a pick me up.
Okay. Now, there's this thing called a Belsnickel.
A what now?
A Belsnickel. I'm probably saying this wrong. For any
Hey,
of our
try pronouncing the Christmas cat of Iceland.
for any of our folks in Germany, first of all, don't judge me. Second of all, if I am saying this wrong, will you please just tell us? So I am reading it as a Belsnickel. It's a loud guy that dresses in furs carrying a bundle of birch switches. And he visits the children the weeks before Christmas, asking whether they've been naughty or nice. And apparently,
Really? Does he use the birch switches to like smack them upside the head if they
yes,
No, no,
yes,
no. Just give
you've
me
been.
coal, man.
If your ass has been bad, it's getting switched, man. Now, here's the funny
Damn,
thing.
there are some consequences here.
Here's the funny thing. It was brought to America by German immigrants, which later became known as the Pennsylvania Dutch. And the reason I find this story so funny is because my grandma used to whoop our asses with a yardstick. And all I'm thinking of, and that was my grandma that was from the Pennsylvania Dutch side. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that woman was beating me because I was bad, just like the Belsnickel. But I think she didn't ask me if I was naughty or nice.
No, she could have at least done that. I mean,
I think
damn.
she just made the assumption.
Wow, your witchy Pennsylvania Dutch ancestors were not fucking around.
But a Belsnickel was actually considered in folklore to be a servant of Saint Nicholas, aka Santa Claus. And basically he would go around and help Santa figure out who was naughty and nice real quick before Christmas.
So what? He was bad cop to Santa's good cop?
Apparently.
No wonder we all love Santa so much. He had some other guy do his dirty work.
But some people think that the Belsnickel could be the German interpretation of Krampus. So it depends on like the folklore and stuff. So there are some people who think that the Belsnickel and Krampus are the same thing. And as we know, Krampus is the horned half goat, half demon opposite of Santa.
Well, it's only relatively recently that we have kind of like whitewashed and like pacified every single fairy tale and legend.
Right.
Most of these are really dark
Right.
and have a balance of a light and a dark character or main type character. Whereas nowadays we don't talk about Krampus. We don't talk about the Belsnickel.
Yeah, and the Belsnickel basically when the Germans have festivals to them, they do have the scraggly beard, tangled hair, caped fur, deer antlers, and often wear scary masks.
I imagine that those don't sell as well or didn't sell as well when they were trying to get this whole Christmas slash festival of overspending and consumption going. They wanted just that happy fat Santa dispensing presents. Nobody wants to be the downer, the negative side. I mean, fuck, even the elf on the shelf that we have, it isn't really, it's not a watcher.
More of a
it's just
threat. It's more of a threat.
Yeah, but it's a cute threat. Even our threats are cute.
But circling back, now can you see why when people came to America and started settling America, there were certain European traditions. They're just like, you know what, fuck that. And some of this, you know, how do I say it? Scary stuff. I think they saw as the downer and they commercialized Christmas into the fat jolly man.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Wow.
And the ghost stories went with it.
Mm-hmm.
Not only
Yeah.
not only did the Belsnickel go, Krampus went, but the ghost stories went with it.
Yeah, and it got anglicized into just a lump of coal. You'll get a lump of coal in your stocking if you're bad.
Yeah, the Belsnickel, Krampus, all of that just got lumpled into a lump of coal. And then we've got the big jolly man who you can do no wrong. Just give him cookies, man, and you'll get presents.
Cookies.
Yeah, right.
Interesting.
You know, I can't live my life without throwing a cryptid in there.
Yeah, that's so true. So true.
But
Queen of cryptids.
But I did want to touch on, since we are in the throes of the 12 days of Christmas, I found 12 Christmas stories.
Oh,
They're basically 12 and they have no relation to each other whatsoever. 12 brief separate things. 12 ghost stories of ghosts that appear supposedly every December.
all right. Well, let me grab my kerchief and my cap, my weed and my bong, and let's go.
I love that. Your kerchief and your cap.
Right, and settle in for a nice winter's nap while you tell me some ghost stories on the solstice.
You know, unfortunately, these did come from the UK. These are not necessarily the 12 American ghosts of Christmas.
That's okay. Like we said, we don't really like ghost stories on Christmas. We want our Christmas saccharine sweet.
Right.
Visions of sugar plums.
Dancing in our heads, man.
That's right.
I need something dancing in my head right now.
All right, so give me some folklore.
So, in a location called Lewisham, Greater London, and again, for all of our UK friends, if I'm pronouncing this stuff wrong, don't judge me. I love you. Love me back. So, Lewisham, Greater London. There was a train disaster there, unfortunately, in 1957. Two
Aw.
trains collided in dense fog, and 90 people were killed, and more than 100 were injured.
Damn, that sucks.
So this happened on December 4th in 1957. Cries from victims of the Lewisham train disaster are said to be heard every December 4th on the anniversary of the accident.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's
But
creepy.
there is another version that says that those phantom screams date back to an incident that happened at that same location on December 4th during World War II. But the long and short of it is every December 4th, there's some sort of imprint on that specific location where the death screams of people are heard. And like
That
I said,
recording is right there.
there was an event at that location during World War II, and then again this Lewisham train disaster where the two trains collided in 57. But either way, I really don't want to be there on December 4th. I would avoid it.
I would too. That would just kind of really creep me out. I mean, not a good start to the holiday season. That's sad.
And then another one in Haworth, Yorkshire, the spirit of Emily Bronte, who is the author, you may have heard of this, the author of Wuthering Heights.
Yeah.
So she haunts the grounds of the Haworth parsonage. Her ghost is said to return to her family home every December 19th, the date that she died in 1948. So every year on December 19th since 1948, this bitch has been coming back.
Oh, wow.
Like,
Can
do
you
you
imagine
set
owning that house and being like, I really don't want you here this year?
No, you know what I would do? I'd set a place at the table and be like, here you go. She appears with her head bowed, as in deep thought, but she suddenly vanishes if anyone comes too close to her. What are you trying to give her a hug?
Right? Why would you do that?
This one, this one, I am going to see, not that it has anything to do with our East Coast, West Coast thing, but at a later date, I want to dive a little deeper into this one because I'm curious. This one is in Bishop's Castle, Shropshire. I am so bad. Shropshire.
Shropshire? I don't know how to pronounce it either.
I don't know. I'm high and I'm not good at these things anyway, so bad
That's
combo.
okay. Someone will email us, hopefully one of our friends.
Somebody in the UK, tell me about this because check this out, Layla. You would want to go here. All of the ghosts in the UK. Now, think of all of the ghosts in the UK.
I think
That's
the
a
whole place is haunted.
that's a shit ton of ghosts.
Yeah, like every single corner, every road, everything.
All the ghosts in the UK are said to congregate once a year on December 21st
What? All of them?
at the Striper Stone, and they say perhaps for a ghoulish AGM. But every ghost in the UK on December
Everyone?
21st.
That's a lot of ghosts. What's the striper stone? It better be big.
And then it said, listen to this. Local legend suggests England shall be ruined if the quartzite ever sinks into the ground. So that striper stones must be
Must be
like
some type of quartzite.
and a local legend suggests England will be in ruins if this ever sinks in the ground.
Interesting.
On one of the tours, the Devil's Chair, Satan is said to appear every year and speed up the process of the nation's destruction. So basically,
Why does Satan care?
well, because Satan is trying to push the quartzite into the ground so that England goes poof, gone. That damn Satan.
Well, damn you, Satan, I guess.
Now, Satan is not the same as Krampus, but I have
No.
heard of Satan Claus.
Oh, really? Well, it is kind of an easy anagram of that name.
So let me tell you, how big is the Striper Stone that all of the ghosts in the UK can congregate there on one day?
And how much quartzite is there to pull them all in? That sounds pretty epic. And what day is this? On the solstice?
On Yule, man.
Damn, I want to go. I do want to go there. I really do.
And then if every ghost in the UK is in this one location, where's there room for Satan? How's he squeezed it in?
I don't know.
Excuse me, coming through, come through.
There's always room for Satan. Yes, I don't know.
Now, this one, okay, I am going to kill the name of this. I'm going to call it Fogu. Fogu? Fogu Fiend. Lower Boscaswell, Cornwall. I'm killing these
Oh
names.
boy.
Are you okay?
I can't even see what you're trying to pronounce, and I'm guessing I would probably butcher it worse than you. Keep going.
Our UK friends are rolling their bloody eyes at me right now. Okay. So in Cornwall, on the winter solstice, they see a mysterious phantom appear outside of the Pendine Fogu, according to legend. The figure is a woman in white, your favorite. You always love the women in white.
I do. It's such a classic around the world popular
You know what
ghost.
makes her different?
How so?
She's a woman in white with a red rose in her mouth.
Oh, okay. A flower or something red is, not unheard of. Interesting.
So the figure turns and enters the underground like it's like a dry stone structure. So once she's spotted, she turns and enters the underground structure. And some say seeing her brings misfortune.
Another common woman in white theme.
Nobody knows what happens if you follow her into the fogu
Yeah, because
because
people are smart enough not to do that dumb shit.
and the few that have never been seen again to ask.
Ooh.
I feel like she's like it pulling you into the sewer.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Creepy.
So
Super
she's a
creepy.
fogu fiend in
Okay.
Cornwall. Here's another crash, like I call it a ghost imprint. This is in Kempston Manor in Bedfordshire. There was a Christmas Eve tragedy that replays itself, unfortunately, every December 24th at the site of a former mansion. A child is once said to have run out to meet his parents as they pulled up in a horse-drawn coach.
Oh no.
In his excitement for the return of his mother and father for Christmas,
Oh no.
he was hit and trampled by the horse and died of his injuries.
Oh no.
So unfortunately, every December 24th, you can hear the screams and you can hear horses and
Oh
like almost
man. Fuck.
like the pounding of horse hooves on the ground.
Oh no.
That's a
Oh,
shitty
that poor
Christmas Eve.
baby. Yeah.
A year wasn't imprinted with it, but horse-drawn coach, you figure that's been replaying for about 100 years. So that's
Wow. That's
horrible.
awful.
Next is the Erie Inn in Bro, Derbyshire. This is a traveler's rest pub, and it's said to be haunted by a local farm girl who died falling down the stairs.
Oh, that's terrible, but I love a haunted pub.
Well, the problem is that the story goes that she was running to escape a drunken employee, and it was on a Christmas Eve, and as she was
Oh.
trying to escape from this man, she fell down the stairs and died,
Well, that's an office party from hell.
right? A woman in black with a large set of old-fashioned keys is also said to be spotted drifting around at the same time on Christmas Eve.
Now, I think the women who were in charge of houses, like whoever, I forget what their title was, but I think they often had a large set of keys, like on a ring.
Like the lady of the manor, I don't know.
Yeah, wouldn't necessarily be the lady of the house, but whatever woman was in charge of like running the household very often had a big set of keys. So I wonder if it was like the innkeeper or something like that.
Now, here's one from Wales, and legend has it that an oddly shaped stone on Anglesey is all that remains of a thief who once stole a Bible.
Wait, but it's a stone. Did he like get petrified over a really long time or something? Ooh, or is it like
Apparently,
magic, or like did Merlin turn him into stone?
they don't really tell you. They just say that it's the remains of a thief who once stole a Bible.
Okay, I buy that. Sure. I'm in. I'm 100% in.
So he steals this Bible, apparently, and as he carries it over his shoulder, he was suddenly turned to rock, giving this the name the Robber's Stone.
Was the Bible turned to rock too?
Correct.
Oh, okay. Does it look like a person carrying a Bible?
Apparently.
Ah, wow.
Every Christmas day, it is said that this rock almost like comes to life in the mist and runs 3 times around in a field in which it stands and then turns back to rock again.
Wow.
I want to go to
Wow.
Anglesey and see this.
Wow, that sounds like my worst nightmare, to be entombed in stone and only able to run around 3 times on Christmas for stealing a stupid Bible.
This is a part that and
I
not
mean, if
that
you're gonna turn the Bible to stone anyway, just let the fucking thief have it. I mean, damn.
well, you know how it's foggy over there a lot?
Yeah.
Like all I can picture, in Mists of Avalon when the fog descends and like the gates to Avalon open up. All I'm thinking of is like the fog descends on this thieves robber's stone, and the guy stands up, stretches, runs around 3 times, and then crouches back down and turns to stone.
I would just take off. I mean, if someone was like, okay, you can run around in a circle 3 times, honey, I'd be like, oh, yeah, okay, sure, no problem. And then the first time they let me out of that stone, I would be gone. I'd be so far. Run around in a circle? Fuck that. I would run away.
You know how much I want to live in Buckingham Palace. So
Oh, yes, it is your desire.
this one from Westminster, Great London, they say a phantom monk bound in chains appears in Buckingham Palace once a year on Christmas Day. Was the queen
Fuck yes. A
get
queen,
out?
a chain bound monk? Fuck
Yes,
yes.
yes. Why did she kick his ass out?
Right?
She was
Fucking
the
A.
Queen of England.
Ooh.
Get out of my castle.
Have there been any sightings of the most recently, God's rest her soul, deceased Queen of England?
Not that I've seen or heard of yet, and I've actually been keeping an eye out because I'm super curious.
If anyone's going to know, you'll know first. So
Right?
tell
Right?
us.
So this phantom monk at Buckingham Palace, his spirit is understood to predate the construction of Buckingham Palace. Now, Buckingham Palace, I think they started in like 1701 or 1703 or something like that.
So,
So
like
this,
you said, not something necessarily with that particular building, but that goes along with the land it's on.
I call it the ghost imprint. I don't know why I call it that, but I do. Um, but also another weird thing about Christmas Day in Buckingham Palace is also they can sometimes hear the sound of a pistol shot on the first floor office, which
Ooh, is
was,
it a duel? Was it from a duel? Tell me it was from a duel.
well, all they do know is that that's the same office where Edward the Seventh's private secretary, Major John Gwynne, ended his life. So it's probably
Oh,
him
not a duel.
putting a bullet to his
Yeah.
head, to be honest.
Oh, man. That's sad.
But I have another good one. This is my last one.
Okay.
My last of my
The last of the 12 creepy ghosty tales, where Chelle is reviving the age-old tell ghost stories on Yuletide. What's the last one, Chelle?
well, actually, it's not the 12th one. It's like the ninth one. But I'm really
Yeah.
happy. I'm
Okay.
really happy.
Oh,
So
so I hyped up the ninth one and we have 3 to go. Okay, so the ninth one better be fucking impressive. What is it?
what is with trains at Christmas time in England? Like
Oh, I want to
whatever.
go on a train ride. I want to go on one of those Polar Express train rides.
Ooh, that would be cool. But
Yeah.
here's why you might not wanna. So, a train with glowing red lights is said to appear every December 28th at the site of the former Tay Bridge. Want to know why?
Why?
Because unfortunately, the faulty structure collapsed in 1879 during a violent
No.
storm as the train passed over it.
Oh no. Were there any
So
survivors?
again, a ghost imprint. Legend says the scene is reenacted every year on December 28th of the train crashing into the cold waters of the Firth of Tay below.
Oh, so sad. That's so sad.
Another one in the Isle of Wight, an unidentified party goer is always spotted every year enjoying the evening at the manor house near Kinkton Gorges. The only problem is that the property was demolished. So like there's just a knight on a horseback also seen there. So there's a guy partying in the middle of nowhere because there's no house because it was torn down.
Well, I'm kind of happy for that ghost, actually.
But there's also a knight on horseback seen on the same property that always appears on December 31st.
Oh, interesting. I wonder what their stories are.
So a knight, what would that be? Like maybe 14, 1500s?
Sure.
So my
I have
guess
no
is
idea.
that they more likely than not were killed there.
I would guess. I mean, or that was where they were the happiest. Maybe they left there to go to battle and died violently, and so they're sometimes the people's souls go back to where they were the happiest or where they had the most emotion in their lives, or the place that made the most impression on them sometimes. So maybe he died violently and he's just gone back to where he was safe doing patrol at that property.
That could be. I got a quick Jack the Ripper tie-in for you.
Okay, so this is the one I should have hyped up. All right.
Even this guy can't even avoid Christmas. So again, Westminster, Greater London. So every year, again, December 31st, what's with New Year's Eve, man?
Yeah, it's another popular one.
As it's almost time to ring in the new year, there is a phantom that is said to throw himself off the Westminster Bridge
No shit.
into the Thames below. Many believe that it is the ghost of Jack the Ripper, the unidentified 19th century serial killer. But other people
So they're
think,
saying that maybe Jack the Ripper committed suicide?
yeah, on
Wow.
New Year's Eve
No
off this
shit.
bridge. I don't know why. I haven't been able to find details. These are just like snippet stories.
Wow. I like it. That's an interesting speculation. Very cool.
They also say that they see a police officer and a female jumping off the bridge as well.
Into the River Thames also?
Correct.
Holy crap.
Off the same bridge. And the way that theory goes is that the police officer was called to prevent the woman from throwing herself over the bridge, but for reasons they cannot tell, they both went over.
Oh
It could have been
no.
that it could have been that she started to jump and he was trying to stop her and went with her. But
Yeah.
every year on New Year's Eve, you see a police officer and a woman falling from that bridge.
Oh, that's so sad. That's so sad.
And what is now my 12th story for the
Okay,
club?
let's hype this one up. Woohoo. Okay. What's grand old number 12? Ghost story number 12.
I love castles. I should
Oh,
have a
don't we
castle,
all?
people.
Yes, you should.
If anybody has a castle you don't want, you call me. Send an
I
email.
was just looking at castles for sale in Scotland.
We could
Not
just
that I could ever get one.
yeah, we could go in on it.
I want to be real quick. I want to be one of those, YouTubers where let's go buy a rundown castle in Scotland and fix it up and show our whole fixing it up on YouTube. A haunted rundown castle in Scotland. So that's my dream.
Here's my
Anyway,
proposition. I have a proposition for all of our UK listeners. If you are in England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland, listen to us. Listen to my plea to you. Wouldn't it be fun to give a castle to some stoner American girls and like see how that works out? Like, I think it would be funny. You'd laugh at us, we'd laugh at you. It'd be great. I think it's a great
sure.
experiment. Bring Laylla and Chelle to the UK with our families. Let us have a castle, and we'll show you that we can acclimate. We can acclimate. Wait, we need to
Or
find out if weed's legal over there first before we
we
start making
do. We
deals.
do need to find that out first. Or rather than, if you want to give us a castle, by all means do. Or if you just have a couch to in your haunted spot in Scotland, by all means, shoot us an email. We'll come visit and check out your ghost. Happily.
I don't mean to pull rank here or anything. I'm going to sidetrack for a second. I don't mean to pull rank here or anything, but my family goes back to Wales. Laylla can tie back to some Scottish roots here.
Mhm.
So I think somehow, some way, we're related to somebody who owns a castle. That's all I'm saying. Wink, wink,
Well,
nudge, nudge, wink, wink, nudge,
un-
nudge.
unfortunately, my husband's family, their castle is long been in ruins in Scotland. So,
Really?
yeah.
They didn't build a new one?
The Scottish branch of the family is currently in a castle, but it is not the family castle from long ago. It's just a castle they live in. They actually have a big family reunion that people come to from all over the world in Scotland. And we say that we're going to go to it all the time. And we just haven't been able to quite get up the money to do it. But we really want to one of these days.
Well, my daughter and I have been doing a lot of genealogical stuff, and I seem to have a lot of people that trace back to Snowdonia. So I
What
want to
the
go
fuck
there.
is Snowdonia?
It's in like the
Is that a
northern
real
part.
place?
It actually is, yo.
Cool.
It's in the northern part of Wales, which is now really considered a part of all of that. So just think of like western part of England.
How neat. How cool. That's very cool. I've never
So
heard of Snowdonia. I love that name. It sounds like a absolute fairy tale place. I love it. Princess of Snowdonia.
Oh my God, we need to like take a road. We can't take a road trip because you can't drive there. We need to take a fly trip and go to the UK. Let's do it. We should do a GoFundMe. Send Layla and Chelle to freaking the UK. We want to see England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Let's
We
do
could do a
this.
little road trip around the area, go all over, do some ghost hunting. Oh, wouldn't that be a winter solstice dream come true?
Oh my God, and my friend from England could be our tour guide, and we would just make him take like a month off of work and just drive us all over the place. Because I don't think you and I are safe driving on the wrong side of the road or the wrong side of the car.
Probably not.
Oh my God, how fun would that be?
Oh, that would be amazing. All right, but enough rambling.
Somebody sponsor this dream. Now,
Sponsor us, please. We need to go on a trip.
my 12th Ghost of Christmas story, the final one.
All right.
So this one is actually titled A Gruesome Game. So the Earl Birdie, which was a resident of the Lord Scarney Castle, was
Okay.
told to have once played cards against Satan
Oh, really?
and lost.
Interest. Oh, no. So unlike the fiddler, he did not win. No golden cards for him.
Yeah, so Earl Birdie loses card. Like, what is with Satan playing cards? Is he like a card shark or something?
I
So
don't know. I
anyway,
think he plays lots of games. He'll play any game with you for your soul, I'm pretty sure.
so apparently the fateful game is now said to be replayed once a year on December 31st, right at the stroke of midnight. So basically, going from the 31st to the 1st, right at midnight, this game is replayed every year. And they say, witnesses beware. So the legend goes that in this castle, you can hear the sounds of like two people playing cards, like chips, betting kind of things.
So like poker chips or
Correct.
whatever betting type chips they were using and the sound of the cards and the dealing.
Correct.
It's a
Correct.
distinctive sound if you've ever been, at any type of gaming table.
But it says don't pay attention if you come across this at midnight on the 31st, because witnesses must beware. It is thought that anybody who tries to watch the game will be transported to hell at the end of the match.
Interesting. So if you even watch, you lose
Correct.
your soul.
Correct.
Oh,
Correct.
wow.
That's the game you play for watching.
That's
You
some
wanna
shitty
watch?
rules. Shitty rules, devil. Shitty rules.
Well, I'd be that jackass that would try to somehow like change the result.
You'd want to cheat and help the guy win at cards. So
break
maybe
the cycle, break the cycle.
that's right. Maybe Satan is just trying to keep cheaters out of it. That's all.
So it seems like between December 4th and December 31st, there's a lot of activity. And again, I could see it, and I could see the ghost story for Christmas time thing, because when do you miss your family and your loved ones the most that have passed?
Holidays.
When do you miss your ancestors the most?
Holidays. Yeah.
And if I was a ghosty, when would I want to come? I want to come see you at Christmas. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's exactly when people's thoughts have power and emotions have power, and when those emotions get high, you can summon someone without even realizing. You out of the blue start thinking about your loved one that passed away, and then that night you have a dream where they talk to you. You
Right.
called them to you.
Right.
That kind of thing. So it's powerful, and a lot of people are in the same kind of mindset. That's why even the air feels interesting around Christmas Eve and Christmas, because everyone, or at least a vast majority of people, are all putting their energy and intention towards the same kind of thing.
And even though all of these little snippet stories were relatively old stories, what makes them present is it's like these ghost imprints appear every year
They're
during the
recurring.
month of December, during the holiday season, either appearing to be seen or reliving the tragedy.
Interesting that it's just so cyclical and it keeps happening every year on these dates, It
Right,
just
right.
keeps it present and
It
current.
keeps it present, and because
Yeah.
I was struggling so hard with Christmas present, that's what my tie-in was, is that like that one was from the 1800s, but the fact that these ghosts reappear every year cyclically is what's keeping it relevant and present.
How intriguing that things just kind of keep happening, even like in a couple cases where there's no longer a house there to kind of anchor that haunting, but it
Right,
still happens in the same place.
right,
Wow.
right. So I have learned something throughout all of this.
What's that, Shell?
I feel that maybe I used to misinterpret the veil opening and closing and time frame. I almost feel like the veil is just as thin now as it is at Samhain.
It's pretty close. And I think that it's not quite as thin, but damn, it's still, I agree with you.
Maybe if it's not as thin, it could be that both sides, the ghosty side and the living side, put a shit ton of energy into it all at the same time during the month of December.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is still very thin. Maybe not as paper thin as it might be on exactly Samhain or right around Samhain, but it's still very, very thin. And like you said, the collective energy of people thinking about their loved ones is bound to draw them here.
Every day is a school day, man.
So fun. Interesting. I love the ghost stories. I want to continue with the tradition of Yule and solstice and Christmas ghostly tales because how interesting, and telling tales on a cold and gray and snowy day. How fun is that? I mean, I love it.
I want a fireplace. I want a fireplace to tell some ghost stories around.
Yeah, it would be nice to have a reason to use a fireplace. I'll have to take a vacation in the mountains. That would be nice.
Ooh.
Get a little snow for my Christmas time. But
maybe in Snowdonia.
Maybe in Snowdonia. Yeah. When you get that GoFundMe going, Chelle, you let me know. And I'll be there for our hashtag van life haunted tour of all of Europe.
Let's do this.
Let's do it. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us for episode 48 of the Stoned Witches Hour, our Christmas present episode. And actually, also today, we have out an episode, our Wheel of the Year Yule episode. So check that out too. And be here next week on Wednesday at 4:20 a.m. for episode 49, Ghosts of Christmas Future.
Wow. 49.
49. Can you believe that we have kept it together, that I have kept it together enough to do almost an episode a week? I'm impressed.
Rock on to us.
Right? Love it. Fist bump.
Boom.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll catch you next week.
Stay high, stay happy.
Peace out.